My dear students, today we are going to learn a poem, A Poison Tree, written by William Blake. Let's understand about the poet. William Blake was born on November 28, 1757 in London, England. William began writing at an early age and claimed to have had his first vision of a tree full of angels. At age 10, he studied engraving and grew to love Gothic art, which he incorporated into his own unique works. He was misunderstood poet, artist, and visionary throughout much of his life. But he found admirers in the later part of his life, which has been very influential since his death on August 12, 1827. His main influence was the Bible. I request all of you to have your textbook. I will read the poem for you. Please go through it. A Poison Tree. This poem is there for memorization. Written by William Blake. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath, and my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Now I'm going to explain the poem. I was angry with my friend. Here, the speaker of the poem is the poet William Blake. I refers to the poet William Blake. The first instance, the poet was angry with his friend. I told my wrath. Wrath here, strong feeling of anger. Strong feeling of anger. My wrath did end. Here, the poet was angry with his friend. He dealt with his anger or angry feelings, and his anger melted away. He was very close to him. He sincerely liked him, and he did talk to him, and everything sorted out. I was angry with my foe. Foe here referring to an enemy. He was angry with his enemy. I told it not. He did not talk about that. And the misunderstanding he did not clear it. He did not talk to him. And my wrath did grow. Here his anger grew. Second stanza. And I watered it in fears. What happened now? The anger was growing like a tree. Children, what kind of a tree? A poisonous tree. And I watered. And how did he start to nourish that or to nurture that tree? And I watered it in fears. I refers to, again, the poet, the speaker, William Blake. To grow a plant, children, generally speaking, when you talk about a plant, to take care of that, to nourish that, to nurture that, we have to the plants, we have to have the sun, we have to give the sunlight, yes, and we should, with love and care, we have to take care of that. In the same manner, he was, but in a different way. The manner in which the tree that grew within him, the suppressed anger, it became a poisonous tree because of all these factors. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. I watered it. Fears refers to the speaker did not have the courage to express his anger. The speaker did not have the courage to express his anger. Night and morning with my tears, what it refers to? What it suggests? The speaker too suffered for suppressing his anger. Actually, he was also not happy with that. What was going on between him and his foe. He was not happy with that. So, what he was doing? He was suppressing his anger and he was not happy with that. So, he was suffered for suppressing his anger. And I sunned it with smiles. I sunned it with smiles. It refers to the speaker cunningly hid his anger with bright smile. Just artificially he was having the smile. Actually, he was very cunning. He was not showing his true love towards him. He was not showing his true feelings towards his foe. I hope you got the meaning of these 3 lines. And with soft, deceitful smiles. Actually, here, deceitful, here, meaning wicked. Deceitful meaning wicked. Wiles, tricks. The speaker was using his fake smiles and the wicked tricks, cunning tricks. Fake smiles and the wicked tricks. So, the second stanza, we have to learn here what happened when the speaker suppressed his anger. What happened when he suppressed his anger? It grew into a poisonous tree. When he suppressed his anger, it grew into a poisonous tree. And it grew both day and night. Yes. Till it bore an apple bright. Grew a tree and it bore an apple. It was very bright, very shining and very beautiful. And my foe beheld it shine. He saw that beautiful apple in the tree and he was knowing that is his friends or the speaker's garden, and he knew that it was mine. And what he decided to do? And into my garden stole it. He did steal that apple from the poet's garden. When the night had veiled the pole, everything was covered. It was very dark. Apple here, actually apple in the poem, that is a consequence of suppressing his anger. And what kind of apple it was? It was a poisonous apple. The consequence of suppressing his anger. Apple is bright here refers to, it is intended to tempt the foe. It was trying to attract the attraction of the foe. The apple is bright here referring to it intended to tempt the foe. It was trying to attract him to steal that apple. Who stole into the speaker's garden? The speaker's enemy, the poet's enemy, foe, stole into his garden. Let's go to the last stanza. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. What happened the next morning? He secretly went to the speaker's poet's garden. He stole the apple, bright apple. When the night, during the night time, when it was very dark, the speaker saw his enemy lying dead the next morning. He ate that and he died. So, the enemy dies in the end physically. Spiritually, the speaker also dies. His anger and hatred for his enemy also dies. So, what we can understand here, eating that poisonous apple, the fruit, actually forbidden fruit, was eaten by the foe and he died. So what you can understand here, a poison tree refers to the tree of hatred and enmity, grown by the seed of suppressed anger. What is the seed here? It is the suppressed anger. Everything happened because of suppressed anger. Suppress opposite express. He did not express it. He would have expressed that if everything would have been sorted out, they would have been the best friends again ever after. So, children, I hope you have understood. I want to convey some of the moral values what we are going to learn from this poem. Here, there is a biblical narrative story, that is Adam and Eve. They ate the forbidden fruit is a name given to the fruit grown in the Garden of Eden, which God commanded the mankind not to eat. There were two kinds of trees, like tree of life, that's a God tree, and the tree of knowledge, that's a Satan. Actually, it was a poisonous one. But here what happened? The Adam and Eve, they did not follow the command of the God and they ate the fruit of tree of knowledge. Here what happened? They died at the end. So here apple, here if you see in the glossary, apple, a possible allusion to the forbidden fruit in the Bible. So that story, the biblical, the Adam and Eve story relates here. The forbidden fruit was eaten by Adam and Eve, and that was their destruction without following the command of the God. So, what are the moral values? Or we can say that in this picture, they ate that fruit, it was poisonous. We can see in that picture the serpent or the snake, yes, poisonous, and they ate that and at the end they died. So what are the values that we are going to learn from this poem? That mainly can say that we must not suppress our anger or any other destructive emotions that is going to destroy oneself and the other person, the two people. And the poet William Blake cautions about the ill effects of holding anger within oneself. It is too dangerous. And the third important thing, what we are going to learn, the moral value, that is communication is the best way to avoid the fruit of the poison tree, or through that is one of the solutions through which we can get the correct solutions through which we can lead a healthy, happy life. Children, there are some new words: wrath, anger, foe, enemy, deceitful, wicked, wise, trick, veiled, covered, outstretched, lying, dead. So these are some of the new words. Write down in your notes book, and through my explanation I hope you can write some of the writes the summary of this poem in your own words. And there are some figure of speech like I signed it with smiles, alliteration, yes and yes, repeated letter, and with soft deceitful whiles, W repeated. And I watered it in fears, it's the metaphor. That stanza, many of the lines metaphor. And it grew both day and night. When the night had veiled the pole, personification. When the night had veiled the pole. So what is the main substance of this poem? Moral degradation for allowing anger to grow and for rejoicing in the death of his friend. Children, I hope you understood the poem. Try to write the summary in your own words. Thank you, children.